Hi, I'm Steve Kuhn, a Criterion Sales Officer, and today in this session, we're going to talk about Criterion HCM, which is modern cloud solutions for HR, talent management, and payroll. We're going to be walking through this short slide deck first, but then we're actually going to get into the software. I'm going to walk you through first the administration side of things, so everything around HR, payroll, and the talent management from an administrator's perspective. And then we'll finish up by looking at employee self-service. So Criterion's been around for about 35 years, and all we do is HR and payroll, or HCM. We have over 500 clients on the cloud product, and we have over a 95% customer satisfaction rating. And the reason we think, or part of the reason we think this is because we have a voice of the customer. And the reason we've done this is we want to know what our clients think about the software, not only where it is today, but where do they want to take it. And we use a feature request portal that every client, small or large, has access to, and they can put feature requests out there. Other clients can vote on them, comment on them, and then we take those ideas and bring them into the product every 90 days. We have a 90-day release cycle, and every 90 days, we bring in about 20 new features or new enhancements to existing features, and you have the choice of whether to use them or not. Of course, we also maintain the tax tables for our payroll clients. And as laws change in Canada, in the US, and other countries, we will always update those as well to maintain that compliance too. Criterion is enterprise grade. And what we mean simply by that is our software is highly configurable to meet your unique requirements, whether that's in HR, payroll, talent, or workforce management. We're able to configure systems specific to each client or uniquely to each client, even though it is still a cloud solution. There are desktop, mobile apps as well, and we'll talk about that and actually show some of that when we get into the product. You'll notice that as we get into it, it is modern technology. This is HTML, 100% APIs, which simply means we can integrate with virtually any other software that you may be using in-house and want to continue to use. We encrypt your data, even at rest, because we know this is personal information and we're highly sensitive to that fact. We continually back it up for 30 days and store subsequent backups on site so that we can restore you, if necessary, back to a specific date and time. When we use Amazon Web Services as our hosting partner, this gives you the flexibility to decide where you want your data to be stored. In Canada, we have a data site in Montreal that we use with a backup site in Toronto. This is the way the system breaks down. There's HR, payroll, and talent. I won't go through each item. You can read for yourself, but the idea is HR is the core information, whether that's time off, it's pay history, it's work history, it's document management. Everything about that employee is retained in HR. It'll also keep track of all that talent information around those onboarding tasks, as well as the recruiting documents that people will turn in, performance management, courses, completed, things like that. Payroll is that engine that does that calculation gross to net. Whether you run payroll on weekly, biweekly, semi-monthly, monthly, or you have a mix of those, we can do that. Okay. We can generate checks, EFTs, all within the system, as well as ROEs. Talent engagement is really those things that get people into your organization, up, running, trained, and out there working and producing for you, and then keeping them involved in the organization through the feeds and the communities that we have built. So that's a little bit about us. And now let's take a little bit of time to get into the software. And we are going to start off in the admin role. And we're going to be in the admin role of HR. I am signed on as a systems administrator. You will notice over here on the far left that I have the ability to move to every module within the system. So I don't have to go and log in HR, but I also do payroll, so I log in somewhere else. It's all in the same database. You log in once. Okay. Now we also support single sign-on if you do that as well. All right. Other people may not have the same credentials as I, and so they can only access payroll, or they can only access HR, and they can only see and do certain things in HR. So they may be able to see an employee record, but they can't change anything, or they may be able to view certain items and edit, or not see things at all. You also notice at the dashboard, and we'll see the dashboard in payroll and recruiting as well. These are analytics that you can create, although they are shipped with specific ones. And then you can modify these if you choose to, simply by clicking on this little icon right here, and you can modify the view if you want to do that. You'll notice up here, there's a global view of this year, but you could also have other options as well. And if you do run multiple employers, you're the ability to scale or drill down into single employers or companies. Across the top, you'll see the employees' positions, org charts, and reports. Take just a minute. We're going to go into the employee record. Notice on the far left, there is that search capability where I can type in a character string, and whatever I search for will come back to me in this white field. For example, if I simply type in LIT, it's going to bring anybody back with the last name that has LIT in it. And then I simply choose the employee that I want, and I display all the information that is available in this employee record. It's quite extensive. We won't go through everything today, but understand that, within these fields and screens, you're going to see pretty standard information. But then if you scroll down, you'll see the ability to add custom fields. So if you have a particular data point that you want to track for that employee, you can do that, or employees in general, and you can make it part of your unique database within Criterion. You'll notice under employment, it'll list all the employee information, okay, from one position, or if they hold multiple positions in your company. And then you can see a history of that employee across that entire length of time that they've been employed. So you'll see here that this person has actually had multiple positions and holds multiple positions in this organization. So you can see here that he's a technician, he's a support specialist, he's a manager, and then his primary position, though, shows all the history that he has done throughout his career here. If you want, employees can move between these various positions in their timesheets or at the time clock, if you will, and those different rates will apply to those hours that employee works. Or you have the ability to assign tasks. Tasks simply allow you to automatically distribute that employee's labor cost based on percentages that you might have. These can be anything you want, from departments or cost centers to particular sub-accounts. The list is endless. Or you could have projects and sub-projects and so forth. So it gives you a great deal of flexibility and granularity on how you allocate that person's time. You'll notice here we have benefits, time off plans, and simply going in here, you'll see that we can accrue based on a variety of different things. We can see the use, the net, they can go into the negative, they can carry over. These are all rules that each plan will be set up to be configured. And then if you as an administrator need to see this particular employee's calendar, you can simply give it a view and you'll see the calendar here, and then you can bring up the legend to show you all the information about this. Notice we do have things like time in lieu and bank time, as well as stat holiday calculations within the system too. We come down here to documents, and you'll notice that we have multiple files that you can store documents in that allow you to organize your paperwork for each employee, whether that was through the recruiting process or something else. And then you can allow who can see into which files. Everything around their education and skills, including certificates or certifications, are tracked here as well. Their formal education, the courses that they're taking or completing. And then you can always assign them as an administrator new courses or classes. All their performance reviews are tracked here so that you can see this as well. And you can come in here and view these things. Like this is a 360 that we can show and see that we've gotten some anonymous feedback on this individual throughout the review process. Notice that here, this is a question. You don't have to ask about competencies and ratings. You can simply ask questions to give a more open forum for discussion. So that's a brief overlook at the employee record. And then we also track positions. So positions allow you to define the organization by position, and in doing so, you can put these attributes that are specific to this position. Okay, and then also include things like job description and so forth within this position. As we go into recruiting, you'll see that this gives you the ability then to just automatically populate all these fields. And then as an employee is hired, they're automatically given these attributes as well. Noticing here that they have pay ranges. You can decide if those pay ranges are fixed and permanent, meaning they have to pay a certain salary range, that maybe the midpoint is $16 an hour. Org charts are simply built out, and you can come in here and you can see everyone that reports to everyone else. You can also make this available in self-service. Reports are defined here. You can have standard reports. There's over a couple of hundred different reports. Every report is available in Excel, CSV, PDF, or HTML, and can be set up to run on a regular basis using the task scheduler. You also have the ability to add custom reports or simply do ad hoc reports based on a variety of different options that you can select from tables that are built into the system. You can have SQL statements written directly into the database, and you can also report on custom forms that you may have built into the system. Moving over to payroll, you will see the dashboard for payroll. So underneath payroll, you'll see the employees, and you'll notice as we go into the employees, it's the exact same screen that we saw in HR because it's the exact same database. From a payroll perspective, it's simply a matter of adding a batch, processing a batch, and of course, all your standard payroll reports are built into the system as well. You can see all these down here as well. If you want to search for a particular item, you can come in here and see ROEs that are built in as well. From a recruiting perspective, we can help you build out both the recruiting module, but also the landing page. So this is a mock-up of a website. And simply by clicking on the careers, you will see all the jobs that are posted here, and then people can apply, and you can have a variety of different ways you can apply either through the job board, or job boards, multiples, or you can apply directly at the careers page, and you can ask pertinent questions, whether those are knockout questions or not, that's up to you. You can also build a variety of different reviews or question sets that you want to ask people when they go through the interview process. You can ask them to send in additional information and so forth. You can see all the different jobs that are posted, as well as all the different candidates who've applied. And then, of course, you can search for different candidates based on criteria, just like you do for employees, just like you do for positions, etc. In the far right, we're going to go into settings. Settings are the core piece behind this. And the idea behind settings is we want to be able to open this up to you as much as possible. So you will see everything here from setting up learning management, where you set up classes, performance management, setting up reviews, but then also things like compensation management, where you can set up these distribution rounds. Distribution rounds allow you to come in here and define a particular period, workflow, and then budget around that. And then you can also add these different grids that we're going to see shortly in self-service. And then simply add the managers that are going to be a part of this and the budget that you allow them to work with. And then once you publish it, then they're able to see it. They'll be notified of this in self-service. And we'll talk about notifications when we move into self-service. So let's go to self-service now and talk about all those different functions that you can do. We have provided a more detailed employee engagement video that you're welcome to view too, but this gives you an overview of self-service and what can be done. Each employee has a self-service landing page, and in the center of it is this feed that allows you to engage with employees either globally or uniquely by employee group, so that you can send messages out. These can be just text messages, videos, and so forth. And then you can ask for likes and replies or not, or limit the replies from certain groups. Under my tasks, these will come here. You'll also notice them over here, but every single task that I'm assigned, I get a notification of. Notifications can be text messages. It can be emails. They can be just simple alerts in the system or a combination of all three. If I open up my task list, you'll see a variety of things that are available to me that I need to take action on. So whether that's that compensation distribution, I can simply open it up and view that, see all my employees, and make my adjustments here. If I need to, I can expand it with this little button up here. And then I also have forms that I might need to complete. So forms can be standard forms that you use today, PDFs that you want to fill out, okay, things of that nature. Or maybe they are documents that you need to use, like a TD1, okay, that needs to be filled out. These can all be part of the forms that are completed. I have onboarding tasks that I might have to do, and these may be tasks that I need to do specifically for my onboarding, or they could be tasks that have been assigned to me because I'm a certain position within the organization. Maybe I'm IT and I issue particular capital equipment out to people. I also have performance reviews that I need to complete. I can simply click on these and it'll present these forms that I need to complete, this performance review, and I can come in here, I can rate this individual, comment on this individual, and whether this is a manager review, a self-review, a 360, whether that comes up annually, quarterly, whatever the cycle is, they're all managed back into that settings system. And you can have different formats for different employee groups. So it may be that we want to ask questions, or maybe we do want to rate on scales. That's really up to each organization, and then each cycle of the performance evaluations. If I'm responsible for doing time off or time off requests, they'll also appear here. Now I have record of all my time off, and you'll see this right here. And I show my take-in and balances. If I do want to request time off, I can simply come in here and add my time off request. If I say like, I don't know about that vacation number, I can view my calendar just as simply as the HR administrator did just a few minutes ago. And it will show me all my leaves as well. Then I can add time off here. Okay, if and when it's approved, it is automatically entered into my timesheet. Timesheets have the ability to be set up in a variety of different configurations. I'm just going to show you one that's a little bit more extensive than most. And the whole idea is that I can come in here and I can add particular information about projects, units, hours, or you may just want me to do in and out, that type of thing. Or you may have salaried people that only put in exception time, that time off capability right there. You can add attachments. You'll see the audit as far as who did what. Okay. And then you can add a note if you choose to. You also see all the other functions that this employee can do. Maybe they want to look at pay information. They could come in here and simply click on pay history, and they would see pay information for as far back as you've used the system. They'll see it annually, and then they'll have the ability to drill down and see the detail, and they can download PDFs. If they're part of the recruiting process, they can see that there. If they need to set goals for their team, it's done there as far as the performance review. They can also come in here and they can view their career, their employment, they can change their personal information. They can access resources of the company, whether it's their documents or company documents or their team documents, limited to viewing by their security profile. And then they have access to settings. Underneath the settings, everyone has this look and feel capability, so that now they're able to change the language that they wish to view things in. And as they do that, it will automatically refresh. And if I come in here, and you'll notice that it automatically refreshes the prompts as well as the entire database, because as I switch back from French to English, you will notice that the prompts are even in the other language that we connected to. One last item is mobile. This is available for both iPhones and Android. And you'll see here all the different functionality that's capable within this system. So even things like I can take surveys that the company has asked us to take. These can be anonymous and so forth, and then I can submit it. Okay. Or I might be simply clocking in and clocking out. We provide geofencing if you care to use that, so I can clock in. And again, as granularly as you need, you can have people add information in. They can also see their documents, their information. They can go to the communities. They can actually run the full system on a mobile phone because, again, it's delivered into HTML. They can request their time off. They can see what days they have scheduled. And so they can simply come down here and look at these particular items and so forth. They can see that information as well. So that's a brief overview. Let us know if there's any questions that you'd like to follow up with us on. But thank you so much for attending, and we appreciate your time.